Welcome to Vegas Circle Podcast with your hosts, Paki and Chris. We are people who are passionate about business, success, and culture, and this is our platform to showcase people in our city who make it happen. On today's podcast, we're going to be delving into a founder's insight into the current state of music, finding talent, balance in business and fatherhood. Welcome back to the circle, man. Our good guy, man, founder of MoneyTrain Management, G6.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you again, brother.
It's
man.
always good to see y'all, man. It's always good to see you guys. Man.
So we stayed in contact nonstop the last probably, I think we had you on episode 85. So it's about 2.5
2 years, man. You be saying 3, man. Like, don't be saying 3,
So I looked it up. I'm glad you said that.
Right, let them know. It wasn't too long, but time flies,
February
man.
2022.
Right,
we had
that's
you
a while ago.
Yeah, 2.5.
Time flies, man. Time flies. I'm watching your kids get bigger. My son is getting bigger, man. It's a blessing, man.
Yeah. So what are you excited about right now, man? What's keeping you focused here?
I'm excited about life. You know, I love God. I love my son. I love my family. You know, I'm excited about entrepreneurship always. Like that's y'all know that's my thing. You know, just putting other people in position and just enjoying life. Like that's really what motivates me.
Yeah, I love it. You know, 2 years ago, that seems like you said, it goes by quick.
It goes by fast. It really doesn't even feel like it. Y'all look the same.
Yeah,
hopefully so.
I mean, hey, man, you know, sometimes time goes by and, you know, people, you know, they put on a little pounds, you know, stuff like that. So you guys still looking the same. You guys still looking good.
I appreciate that. Same to you.
Yeah,
but, you know, at that time, you were like establishing this, right? You're getting in your rhythm. You're really finding your groove.
Exactly.
You know, what has that last like 2 years been like for you and your growth?
Man, it's been, it's definitely been adventurous, you know, because basically I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of changes in the whole like landscape of Vegas. A lot of people they're not here like you guys. 2 years ago, let's talk about that. You know, everybody hasn't been here. Everybody hasn't been putting in that work and being consistent. So I've noticed that. You know, music has changed as far as just every aspect. The film industry has changed. So all of the industries that I'm in and I've been influenced by and I'm influencing, they're changing, some for the better, some for the worse. But you know, I'm happy with everything I've been working on as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up consistency, man.
Yeah, man, let's talk about it. You know,
consistency, honestly, in everything.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's the number one, because if you're consistent, you never know what can end up happening. So I'm glad you brought that up for sure. But
consistency, I think the bottom line of that is discipline. You know, you can be motivated, you can be inspired, but without the discipline. Because you're not always going to be motivated. A lot of people don't realize that. You know, motivation, everybody likes to throw motivation, but you're not going to be motivated all the time. So discipline is what really makes everything happen. You know, that's how you keep everything cohesive. And you got to have a real spiritual base, or you believe in something. You know, if you don't believe in God, believe in something, believe in yourself. But you know, you got to be disciplined. That's what I live by.
I agree with you, true. So who's MoneyTrain Management currently working with, man, and how are you finding current talent that you want to connect with?
I'm working with the same people that I've been working with. Verse the Legend, you know, he's been doing great. You know, Mozzie, that's my family. You know,
appreciate you connecting us.
That's my family. So that's bigger than business. You know, that's family.
Okay.
Right now I'm working with. Well, I actually worked on a film by Janae Gamble.
Okay.
And it's called The Amazing Janae Nicole.
Okay.
It's a dope record. It's a dope film. I actually did the theme song for it.
Okay.
So that's coming soon. I'm working with her. I've been working with a lot of people, but more or less I've been kind of focusing on my situation. Like me, you know, as I told you, I've been working on a sitcom. I've been working on just, you know, more commercials and, you know, more of my acting and stuff like that. So I'm kind of putting everything together, you know, and obviously I've been, you know, taking care of my son, making sure my son, because he's been playing ball. So I'm kind of working on everything, and, you know, my son's family. So that's MoneyTrain Management, you know,
that's
everything.
What's up. Okay.
I got to focus on him and get him ready for the next level, because he's in high school now. So I've been putting more focus into that as well.
I heard he's real good too.
Oh yeah. He's been definitely doing his thing.
Yeah, shout out to your son. I think he's probably one of the best, literally top prospects in the state of California, but also just in the country, period.
Yeah, right now he's definitely been doing his thing. You know, he's from West Coast Elites. He plays for that AAU team, and he goes to North Torrance.
Okay.
And he's playing varsity right now. He's actually in practice right now.
Okay. Did you hoop before?
Yeah, I hooped.
Okay.
I hooped. Yeah.
Could you play? Did you hoop?
Oh no, I was nice. I was nice, but
Yeah.
But I try to teach my son, and you know, when I was younger, it was about, you just think it can happen. Like it wasn't about all of, you know, we should just hoop. So you think you're good. Mm-hmm. I want to go to the NBA, and I'm gonna go to the NBA. You don't realize really what it takes. You know, like the real work ethic. Because I had raw talent. Mm-hmm. You know, my son is a balance between raw talent and, you know, being coached and actually, you know, having training and being trained. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I didn't have a father, so he has me as well. So he has that insight. So I didn't have that. So I was raw talent, but you don't realize what it takes. And think about it. We needed all types of things like we didn't have phones. We didn't have cell phones where you can have a highlight tape.
Yeah.
A highlight tape was extremely big. So it's like now they can create their own thing. They can create their own tapes. They can
Everything
create
highlight tape now, man. Jesus. Yeah.
everything, and they have YouTube channels and things like that. So I didn't have all of that, but it's just the mindset. I just was raw talent. I just wanted to play basketball, and I was good, but you just think it's gonna happen. You don't realize the work you have to put into it. And we played outside all the time, AAUs, traveling teams, but now everybody's got a trainer, everybody's in AAU. So in some parts of it, it's kind of saturated. It kind of switches up the whole game plan because now everybody wants to do it. It's kind of like the music industry. I hope we're going to get into that as well.
We are 100%. Yep.
It's saturated. So it's like in business, everything is saturated. The podcast game, that becomes saturated. So I'm gonna let you stay on course, but we can go in any direction.
I want to follow up with you on two things. I want to get into business. I want to get a little bit about podcasting,
Gotcha.
but how do you balance, the personal and raising a son that's busy, just like us, we talked on the phone about it. Our kids nonstop travel and doing the whole nine.
Definitely.
How do you balance, traveling and doing everything and keeping home and in the whole nine? I just love to hear from your perspective.
Like I said, God and discipline, because that's the only way it can happen. Everybody has their good days, everybody has their bad days, but focusing and actually knowing the end goal, the bigger goal, and you're moving closer to it.
Yep.
And as you get there, you realize this is what I'm doing it for.
Yeah.
So that's what the balance comes from. But God and discipline. I'm just gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Because if you make it too complex, that's where you kind of get off course.
I get it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Kind of go back to the saturation, right? Like you made a great point. Like everything, I didn't really think about it in the sports market, but it makes perfect sense because I didn't really realize that a lot of these people have raw talent, but to get noticed and
Exactly.
to be able to move up into that next tier, you really do have to stand out. And that's kind of what we're seeing as well with all these different, entertainment venues, podcasts, music, movies, et cetera. With that, everybody has accessibility and it's oversaturated. Is that how important is the management of that person to really get them that exposure where they think, well, what do I need it for? I could put on YouTube.
Exactly. No, that's true. The management of it is the management keeps the discipline in the artist, in the basketball player, the football player, the athlete, because people need to be told what to do. Like, that's just what it is to stay on task because they need to focus. You know what I'm saying? I always tell my son right now, I'm like, you living like a trust fund baby. You know what I'm saying? Like you living at the end of the day, everything is taken care of the same way it was for me. I didn't have a father, but I had a great mom.
Yep.
So I had a great foundation. Everything was taken care of. Roof over my head, food, anything that was extra, cool, that was taken care of. So I just got to enjoy being a kid.
Yep.
So I'm like, you enjoy being a kid, but if this is what you want, you really got to want it. You know what I'm saying? You have to really, I saw Gilbert Arenas talking about his son, and he was asking his son, do you love the game? And he was like, yeah. Gilbert turned, he was like, you don't love the game, because when you love the game, you realize what you have to sacrifice for it. And if he was like, video games, and he's got a girlfriend and stuff like that. What are you sacrificing for it? So I thought about that, and I was like, man, that's real, because it's almost like, what do you actually sacrifice for stuff? And we all sacrifice for things that we love, right?
I agree.
It becomes a passion.
Or you move things around.
Or you move things around. So
what's important to you.
It's okay. At different levels. Gilbert's son, he's really
Is
really
he nice?
good. Yeah, he's nice, and we could talk about some other things as far as the way that he put his son. He didn't want his son to go to like Sierra Canyon, for instance.
Oh, okay.
Because
that's the Hollywood of basically.
Like I said, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. So it's like if you talk about Bronny and Bryce and a lot of those kids that went to Sierra Canyon, Gilbert, like, he made a great point. He just said, I've never heard a college coach say, how many championships have you won? It's all about how good you are. Like, we got to keep, like, let's just keep everything 100. They want to know, are you putting up 30 or not? So everybody's wondering why Bronny necessarily didn't do what everybody expected, but let's just go to the stats. Let's not go to all of the hype. Let's just go to the stats. He averaged like 12 points at Sierra Canyon because there's a pecking order. They're trying to win championships. Those teams are stacked. So he doesn't realize what it's like to be the guy. So what you end up noticing is it's a lot of role players that are going into the NBA. Hence this draft. This would be the worst NBA draft that I've ever witnessed in my life. as far as talent wise. I mean, we didn't even know who the number 1 pick was going to be until it actually happened. Has that ever happened?
Yeah, we knew like
that's
the
never
whole
happened.
year there would be number 1 pick.
Right, that's never happened. So
that's a good point.
When people are like wondering why Bronny's not stepping up to the plate or why Bryce isn't stepping up to the plate, it's because they're playing with a whole bunch of other great players. So Gilbert wanted his son to go to the school that's closest to them. Let's not do the same situation as that. I want my son to understand, be in those situations. I want you to be able to take the game-winning shot. I want you to be able to average 30. I want you to be able to miss that shot and understand this is how it feels to miss that shot. How are you going to bounce back? So Bronny's never been in those situations. So when everybody's wondering why he's never been in those situations. You have to be in those situations to understand.
But we know why he got into the Lakers. I mean,
well, yeah, we know that, but I'm
just
talking
like
about,
all of us at this table. If I had the opportunity to put my son,
no.
I mean,
you're hearing me. I'm not saying he's not supposed to get there. Get there, however you're supposed to get there. But when people are criticizing, when people are criticizing his game and why he's not that, he's a pass first person. He's not a scorer. And he hasn't been. He was like that in high school. He didn't get to really showcase that in
and
college.
at USC, right? He wasn't really that nice at USC either, right?
Right.
Okay.
Like I said, the heart situation, all of those things are fine. I understand that. But if we're just talking about literally just being greatness, and to me, I don't. God is fair, right? That's what they say. God is fair. I mean, when have we seen greatness really create greatness? Kobe Bryant's dad. I mean, he wasn't Kobe. Dale Curry's not Steph. So God is fair.
Michael Jordan's.
You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan's son, nowhere to be found. His son,
where he's at.
His son chilling with, right. We know what he's up to. Exactly. So, God is fair. So it's almost like, that's what I want for my son. Like, he's not going to any, I could put him into any school. I could have him be aligned with a whole bunch of great players, but he's not going to fully understand what it's like to put a team on your back. It's okay. You're in high school. Yeah. Go for 30, go for 40, do what you need to do so you can get there, because that's all these college kids care about.
True.
Like that's all the college coaches care about as well. They don't really care about you winning a championship.
Yeah,
it's about getting to the next
how many
level.
Numbers? Yeah, that's
true. It's all about the numbers in any field, right? In the music industry, in podcast industry, entertainment industry as a whole.
Let's jump back a little bit about artists, right? Like working with them. How do you feel about the state of music, right? Because it's going all over the place. In particular, Vegas artists, right? Like Mozzie, I would consider him a Vegas artist, right?
Definitely.
International GT, Mike Xavier, who we've had on.
Definitely.
But how do you feel?
I saw all of those, all those guys.
Great people.
It's dope that you have a platform to introduce them to the world. I look at you guys, no matter what, just because it says Vegas, I see you guys in a global market just because that's where we're trying to go. That's where we're trying to go. So anytime I can help, that's what I'm here for. But as far as Vegas artists, I'm going to say the same thing that I said on our last interview. We still don't have anybody that's holding the torch. That's like the flag for Vegas. When you think of Vegas as far as music, we need to think of somebody. And the fact that we can't think of somebody, that's a problem. That's not going to carry everything. If you think of New York, you can name an artist right off the top. Whichever artist you want. LA, you can name an artist, whether he's a new artist or not. The artist that you name, outside of Mozzie, because I wouldn't say Mozzie's up and coming. He's been doing it for a while, and he's getting major features. He just did the feature with Jim Jones, like we just talked about.
Fire.
A lot of Vegas artists, they don't have that luxury. They might not have built those relationships as well. So as far as Vegas artists, I would just want them to actually, man, it's tough, man, because you have to like not overlook or overcome Vegas, but Vegas is you just think about gambling. Like people don't even realize what this city fully has to offer.
Yeah.
So that kind of takes away from that. It's almost like, as far as music, that's like somebody that could be in Milwaukee or that could be in Kentucky. Certain states and certain markets, you think Kentucky, I just think about, like the college or something like that. If we're talking about sports.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, okay, we could talk about the Bucks, but outside of that, what are we really talking about?
It's like Kentucky Derby or something.
Exactly.
Or I can't think of what's the artist name that did it with Drake and all that? I can't think of his name with all the hair.
The white artist?
Yeah, I can't think of
Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow from Kentucky.
He's from Kentucky.
He's from
But he's been talking about it, and you hear little subliminals and all of that.
Exactly. So, but that's what they need.
Yeah.
Perfect example. That's what Vegas needs. Somebody that's going to stand, like literally represent Vegas. That's what you need.
Do you think it's more of like a culture thing? Because like Vegas, the hip hop isn't really there, right? Do you think it's more of like dance music?
At least you said it, Chris, so I don't have to say it.
Yeah.
So it's like, like I could see a really big, DJ coming out of Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Or a really
Yeah.
big, pop star maybe eventually. But like I feel like hip hop, it seems like it'd be hard to really push somebody from Vegas into that scene.
Yeah, it's extremely hard because when it comes to Vegas actually did a good job when they had Dre's do what Dre's has been doing as far as having people have residencies.
Yep.
That changed the game.
Yeah, I agree.
But you still need the up and coming artist that's from Vegas, and also Vegas is such a hybrid. How many people are born in Vegas, grew up in Vegas, and then they become the flagship artist for Vegas?
Yeah, so you got a lot working
everybody's
against you.
left.
That's it,
It's a lot of things working
For
against
example,
you.
like Neo is from
Right.
Vegas, but he left.
He left.
Yeah.
And no one knew
And
that.
I think he comes back every so often. Probably has a home or something.
Well,
here, but,
he had a residency here as well.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
He had
did
a
residency.
residency too, but
Yep.
he wasn't repping it. He went and got signed, to Jay, and he was in New York. That's what a lot of people, L.A. and New York, those are entertainment capitals of the world. So when it comes to actually, I think the biggest thing that will help Vegas as well is the infrastructure. So, for instance, like congratulations on you guys actually moving. The last interview that we had was at a different place.
Yep.
This place is extremely high power, what I'm
Appreciate
saying?
it.
And you
Appreciate
guys
that.
are working with high power people.
Yep.
This would be what the film industry would need. I heard Mark Wahlberg was bringing something like that
He's
here as
here,
well.
yeah. Yep.
So, then that brings a lot of actors and things of that nature. But there's no Interscope here. There's no Def Jam here. There's no Empire. Empire's out in Frisco in the Bay. So I think all of those really become what changes the whole atmosphere of how somebody can actually flourish from the city, because we need the infrastructure.
That makes sense. I mean, I think we are going to be that for the music industry. I mean, the movie industry at least.
Yeah.
So really, hopefully that, ushers in somebody making that same decision from California that wants to move, like you said, like a music studio here that really impacts that.
No, definitely. And it's funny because when I think about actors, think about the actors that we were coming up with. I mean, they were superstars. I was just having a conversation with somebody. It seems like now, my son watches all the classics, so he knows, the Rush Hours, he knows Will Smith and all that type of stuff. But when you think about the new superstars, I feel like for some reason they're not pushing the new superstars in music and in film, the same way that we had. Everybody it doesn't matter color, creed. There's for every Tom Hanks, for every Tom Cruise. Okay, we got a Denzel. We got a Will Smith. We got a Martin, all that type of stuff, and it's in everything. Comedy, all of these things. So because now I guess these kids want to be streamers and TikTokers and things of that nature, but they don't push. So who's going to be the next superstar? Like right now, if I asked you, my son's 16. So if I asked you, and your kids are
10 and 8. Yeah.
Okay, so who would they be looking up to right now? Because when I was 10 and 8, I could look up to Michael Jordan. I could look up to Will Smith.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Now
We talking
Mr.
about language.
Beast and some other people I don't even know their names.
No, because I really
interesting
think
you
about
saying
these
that.
things.
No,
I
I think
really
about
like
it too.
these things. I
Yeah.
really think about these things because this is my son's the next generation. Who's he gonna be influenced by? I mean, what a Michael B. Jordan? That's the best that my son would have, comparable to a Denzel or a Will Smith. With all due respect, he's not on that level.
So, not even to cut you off, I'm so happy you bringing this up because I didn't know we were going to talk about this. But
I'm here, man. I'm here.
One thing that I'll say is when we first started Vegas Circle, right? 2018 is when we started.
Right.
We went really left, right? We were doing a whole bunch of X-rated crap. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Not
Not
all
the
of it.
early days.
No,
Not
not
We'll
all
keep
of it.
it
We never put it out.
All
We
right.
never put it out.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had other folks we were working with, but we never put it out. But
Got you.
I'm glad you brought that up because of two things, right? Having the foundation of a Vegas Circle, we can show all the movers and shakers in Vegas per se that does go international, right?
Definitely.
But there's a lot of successful people that people wouldn't even know, billionaires here, multimillionaires here that are really connected, right?
Right.
But going back to what you were saying is I wanted my kids to be able to listen to that, right? So that we're not cutting out what they're listening to and be able to learn something from it. Same for Chris's girls, right?
Right.
But also the other thing is Mr. Beast, you've got, Ronaldo. You can't get away from Messi if you're into soccer. You can't get away from LeBron, Curry. You can't get away. They look up to all of them, but you're 100%. Everybody's YouTubers.
Yeah.
And they're saying the names, and I don't even know who the hell some of these guys are.
People
I have no
saying
clue
too, the
who
one
they
they're
are.
on way out though. So I
Correct.
think what you're mentioning is who's next? Who's
That
going to
is
take them that
100%.
next step?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to film,
Yep.
So did I stump you guys? Can you give me somebody right now that in our kids' era that they can look up to in film, the up and coming person? I mean, even for music, it used to be the Justin Biebers. Okay, cool. Justin, who is the superstar? So I don't know. I can't really put my finger on why that is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's. I mean, everything is strategic, right? So
it's almost like they build them up real quick and then take them back and then try to pump somebody else up and do the same thing.
Control,
like,
right. See, and that's the thing. It's a lot of agendas that are holding the superstar back, because we come up in an era where the guy who's the guy, all of the women want and all the guys want to be like.
Sure.
So who is that now? Because not necessarily just because they might look up to streamers, the Kai Cenats or the Mr. Beast and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think they look up to them. It's an algorithm that gets pushed at them. So there's an algorithm that's pushing that.
Yeah.
It's the iShow speeds and all of that type of stuff, and then you have to deal with whatever backlash they're going through. Mr. Beast, he was going through some backlash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when things like that happen, kids don't understand what's going on.
So it's a good point you brought up, like Mark Wahlberg, right? Mm-hmm. He was brought in as a consultant for years. He was trying to get the studio here, bring Hollywood 2.0 here, but then he had to partner with a Sony and Howard Hughes to make that really happen, and now it's going to happen. But we got to change that. Us together, we got to change that, man, to be able to showcase people. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what I was trying to do. Like we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
Is I wanted to bring everyone together. Like, I wanted to book you guys on different podcasts as well, because that's what I was doing. Every time I would go on a platform, I would say people want to hear your guys' story as well.
Sure.
So like that's what I want. And we were seeing it happen. We were seeing it with
Jake,
shouts out to Jake and things like that.
Yep.
But everybody diversified and might have gotten into different things for whatever reason it is. But I mean, Vegas takes a hit when people don't do that, because now we don't have the cohesiveness of everybody working on the same accord. But these other states, LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, they're all doing that. Same thing with like Miami. So all these content creators, they're all going to Miami now, because that's so wherever the big podcast is. I mean, even in LA, I'm always back and forth in LA.
Yep.
Can you tell me what the biggest podcast is in LA?
Well, it was Joe Rogan until he moved to Austin. Yeah.
Feeling me?
Yeah.
So besides that, what are we talking about? So even in a place like LA, what's the biggest podcast in New York? Some people might say Joe Budden, but I just saw the top 10 podcast list, and there's not one. It's definitely not any black
Joe Budden's not
creators.
On there? Joe Budden's not on there for top?
Not for top 10, because they come with bigger budgets. So I'm not sure. Remember he turned down the Spotify.
Oh, you're right. Everything's independent.
So
you're
when
right.
you got Joe Rogan and you got Caller Daddy and you got all of these other ones,
big
and I believe she just diversified and got some $125 million deal. So it's okay that Joe Budden and all of them are not on that, because they might be independent, and how we can get into the independent conversation as well. But I think all of that affects everybody. And as far as Vegas, to me, that like Vegas takes a hit.
Yeah, because they don't have those internal networks, right? Where you can plug and play. Where Paki goes and has a conversation because he's a great networker.
Exactly.
He's in a room with somebody who's worth $100 million. Like I'll got you. Let me hook you up. But we don't have those environments here. We can go into and have those conversations.
And a lot of people don't. I know a lot of investors, and it's a blessing when they actually want to invest in certain things. But it's all about market share. It's all about business. And those things sometimes don't translate. You guys are independent, and the fact that you guys have been doing this for so long. I mean, 2018. Consistently, I mean, that's
the number one. I mean, they say, I can't remember what the numbers are. I actually have it written down on my phone, but I don't want to bore you guys. But I want to say it's like 80% of the podcast, they don't even make it past like episode 3.
Yeah. I heard that.
And I want to say like past like 20 is like, it's like none of them,
right? Because everybody looks at it. Yeah, they look at it. Everything they might hear these big numbers that Joe Rogan's getting 100 million and things like that, but people don't understand Joe Rogan. He's been just in entertainment for years.
He had a huge following already.
Right. He's a comedian. I mean, UFC. He's got a lot of the stuff.
He's been doing a whole bunch of things, so people think it's going to happen overnight. But I don't know about the whole financial situation, but you guys still get credit for actually the upkeep of this, and to see you guys upgrade. So now you're in a better situation. Everything costs. Everything that I'm looking at, all of this stuff costs, even if you have great relationships. So, like you guys get credit for that. And to me, that's what's really missing, actually putting in the work and just being consistent on that.
I agree. Yeah.
We need that. Like without platforms like this, where do we go? Where do artists go? Where do creators go? And, business, you guys definitely like specify in like business and dealing with a lot of entrepreneurs, but a lot of those entrepreneurs, it's dope to see them actually saying, well, forget the rappers and forget this. Now we want to tell our story, and now we want people to see that, you know. So, but once again, then all of the people in film take a hit, and the artists take a hit, and you know they don't really see what it takes to get to that next level.
You know what I'm seeing more than anything, like podcasts and everything. Everybody's a brand.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're talking about LeBron and Bronny and everybody's their own brand, and people they're so involved in your life. Like when we used to see Will Smith and all, you never saw Will Smith 20 years ago or 25 years ago. Now you can see him every day on Instagram and stuff.
No, that's true. That's true.
So I don't want to say it's secret, but it was like secret life for a lot of these people.
Definitely.
But now you're starting to see people want to build their own brand, and that leads to more money, influencer gigs, all of that stuff. So what are you starting to see now with other revenue streams, right? Like, because people traditionally would do, you know, music concerts, things like that, you know, influencer gigs, things like that. What else are you seeing that's out on the market, or any new stuff that's out in the market that people can?
Well, I mean, branding. I mean, that's a multi-layer conversation when it comes to branding. I mean, when I first came out here, I got with ML Billion. That's who I was with, and I helped him with his branding. Okay, and you know, I was executive of lifestyle branding for him, and that's what it's about. And we didn't even think, I mean, a lot of these words we didn't even mention 20 years ago. People didn't say branding all the time. People didn't say
100%.
even entrepreneur, you know. My mom, she wasn't thinking about an entrepreneur. You know, everybody was traditional. So when you think about branding at this point, a lot of times it's hard for the artist to realize they are the brand, and then they have to create another brand or another sub-brand because they are the brand. So what I'm noticing right now is, I mean, obviously branding is everything, but it's like, what do you want to represent? You know, because like you guys are staying positive, like you said. You could have went left.
We did. We just didn't put it out.
But you're right.
The
wherewithal, like you said, to keep on our brand and who we wanted to be true to ourselves, right? You know, that was first and foremost. Right?
And I think also us, like we went left and had two other partners that didn't work right, but me and him both were like, all right, man, we gotta hold each other accountable. That's not us. You know what I'm saying? Like we know who we are. Like we got to represent who we are. You know what I mean?
Right. But you guys are worried, like when you do things like this, it's all about influence.
I agree.
It's all about influence. So we all want to get money. You know, hopefully everything gets money and gets to another level. But the influence is what everybody, you know, because that's what it's about right now. Everybody wants to have some sort of influence, because influence, you know, it gives you some sort of power. It gives you the, you know, if I tell somebody, you know, go to Vegas Circle, and they look and they see what you guys got popping, they coming through. They know. They know. And number one, because, you know, my brand is representing, like, okay, I'm speaking on it, and then now this is your brand. And you guys have been true to it. You haven't switched up. And as long as you're consistent and you don't switch up, the branding of everything is going to be official. But as far as what I've learned and what I've seen as far as like different streams of branding, I mean, streaming is obviously a big thing. But it's so multi-layered. It's kind of hard to see where streaming and all those things are going to go. You know, streaming could be like NFTs. You never know.
That's a good point.
I'm actually shocked it hasn't already happened, to be fair.
But it's just because from what I see, it's just the younger audience. You know, everybody's tapping into the younger audience, which was why I had the question of why we haven't gotten a younger
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that.
Because everybody's tapping into, you know, tapping into the younger audience. You know.
You know, I was just listening. Speaking of, not to stay on Bron, but Maverick Carter, right? He's got a great platform. And he was interviewing Tyler, the Creator. And he had a great interview. And Tyler, Creator is very. You know,
I saw that.
You saw the interview. I loved what he was saying.
Clips,
he was basically saying, like, you know, everybody wants to grab a bag, nobody wants to put the work in, and they don't love the music.
Right.
And everybody sounds the same.
Right.
How are you, like, kind of piggyback on what Chris was talking about earlier, asking about earlier, is like, how do you help manage these artists to be themselves and not just try to get the bag and everybody sounds exactly the damn same?
Right,
you know what I mean?
You want to deal with somebody that's coming through with something original. And originality is it's a lost art form. You know, basically what he was saying. You know, everybody sounds like a carbon copy. You know, and it's, you know, like even when we're talking about platforms, you know, what you're going to get from this platform, you're not going to get from the next platform, because some of those people, no problem. Some of those people are actually indulging in some of the frivolous stuff that you guys might not have let go.
We stay true to it, because I think people feel the energy of people being fake and trying to do too much.
But the thing is people are, the minute people start monetizing off of all these things, they're just going to stick with it, because, you know,
I agree.
You know, the dollar is what everybody's working towards. But people that I work with, you know, like, you know, even Mozzie, for instance, even though that's my people, that's my family. He's always been original. He's always been himself. He didn't do it for anybody else. He did it for himself. So to me, when you can tell when people are doing something trying to be like something. You know, you guys met him.
Yep.
You know, he's just true to who he is.
Super down to earth.
You know, he's true to who he is, and he's in a niche market, like the sports betting market. I don't know anybody that's our color that's doing that. All of the famous sports bettors, right? All the famous sports bettors that I know, they're not black. So
I just thought of you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna be honest with you, shout out to Mike. He's the only one that I know.
So
honestly,
just
only
that in itself. So you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike P. My bad. I gotta give Mike P some love because he's doing it on a different level. But he's doing consulting. He's in radio. He's in radio.
I thought he was a comedian.
Comedian, radio, built Hot 97 and all that. But he's consulting. That's another brand of his space.
Let you know, I'm familiar.
I gotta give Mike P a shout out because he's doing it.
Shouts out to him. Shouts out to him. But you know, like I said, it's just the level of somebody that's been doing it as long as Miles been doing. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. So
that's true.
The originality is what I was like, okay, you're original. You're who you are. And a lot of people, they don't stay true. The persona and who the person actually is, sometimes it might be kind of far off. So now we got to deal with the duality or deal with the dichotomy of these two people.
I agree.
So how do we merge this into a brand, or just going to be two separate brands? It's kind of hard to do that. It's just kind of hard.
Everybody live in a glass house now.
Right.
You can't fake it.
It's hard to manage that. Right. So
I'm not going to last long either. So you do it. You make it. I'm not going to
manage
6 months.
Right. So I'm not going to try to manage that as far as, you know, I'm here to make your job easier. I'm not here to do anything besides that. So I only want to deal with people that are original. Now, have I dealt with some people that I see that might need me just for services? Of course.
Yep.
You know, but as far as something that I'm going to take on and say, because like I told you a while ago, I want to build up artists. I want it to be a build up. I don't want it to just be, you know, we working for a little bit of time or you're already at a certain level and then, you know, I do one or two things and all of a sudden, like, I don't hear from you no more because I want to build.
Yeah, relationship.
You know? And a lot of people do that. That happens a lot in my industry.
Yeah. How do you feel like about like when people are putting out specific music, right? You've been songwriting, producing, engineering, doing the whole nine, and they song sucks. Like, do you tell them like
all the time?
Yo, this is horrible. Do not put that out.
All the time.
How do they take it? Yeah. Because people are they get a little timid about their art.
It depends. But you know, I always want to be true to the artist because I'm not being, you know, like I told you, I see myself as like the Black Ari Gold. If you suck, you got to. Ari's gonna tell Vince. You know, Chris. He's gonna tell Vince he ain't doing his thing.
You have to. Yeah. That's important.
So you got to tell them you want to be honest with them so you can try to get the best product out of it. Now, the flip side of that is a lot of stuff that's not that good is selling and doing extremely well. So then it's like, okay, cool. Are we just doing this for a bag? Is this for a bag? Is this for a play? You know, what are we doing? Because if this is for, I mean, is this a jingle? Are we doing this for a commercial? Is this product placement? You know, so dealing with, okay, if you just do something that is kind of it's not as good, but I know how we're going to use this, you know, me saying that it's trash, that might not even matter. You know, I'm still gonna say it, but you know what I mean. Like I'm still gonna let you know what it is, but it's always let's always understand what we're doing, what the goal is, and where we're going.
That makes sense. A lot of times it could be on purpose, right? Or a lot of times it could be like, you know, funny or a joke or a spoof, and
exactly. And those things work. You know, I understand all of that. I understand all of those things work. So it's just all about what are we trying to gain from this. You know.
Yeah. With us being Vegas Circle, just kind of reflecting on the importance of who's in your inner circle, who's speaking life to you, because I know you're big on. Not so much ministry, but just being people speaking into your life a lot. Right. Who is in your circle that's able to kind of guide you and point you in the right direction beside like your mom and things like that?
Man, like right now, I would really just say my mom, you know, family, you know. Hey, my son can give me insight as well. You know, he's at that age where I pour into him and he can pour into me. You know, I have mentors, you know, like ML Billion and things like that. So, you know, but I don't need to look to too many different people so I can stay focused and have tunnel vision on what I need to do.
That's what's up, man.
And I always, Mozzie got the best quote because he was like, don't listen to anybody as long as you're doing what you're doing. So he's like, don't listen to anybody.
I was thinking about it the other day when he said that.
Yeah.
I was like, that stuck with me for a second.
And he always says that. You're like, you know, that's not the first time he said that because, you know, don't listen to, because a lot of times people, now if you're going to people and they're giving you great advice, no problem. I mean, I can get insight from you guys. Definitely. I can get anything, you know what I'm saying? Especially on, you know, parenting and things of that nature. But when, like, sometimes they can deter you from what's going on. So it's like when you're focused and you're locked in, you know, I believe in God, so, you know, I'm going to pray, I'm going to listen to God, what he's given me. You know, if my mom give me a little insight, I might ask her a question and stuff like that. But besides that, you want to be confident in what you're doing. So the more confident that you and you're doing what you're doing, you're good.
Yep. I love that. I love that for sure. for business advice and just gems, I know we asked you this before, but
Definitely.
I want to stay in this lane of like what people need to do as far as consistency and working hard, and who is the next person, like you were saying, who's the next person out there.
Man,
But
hopefully
maybe they're listening right now,
hopefully
man.
our kids, man. Look, that's the reason why there ain't no superstars. All of
There
our
you go. I
kids,
love that.
they going to be the
appreciate
next one. Definitely your kids, man. They little geniuses,
I appreciate it, man.
I wish I could play the piano at that age.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
It's crazy because we just sidetracked for 1 second there, but my kids love classical music, which is wild to be.
I got into
Super
classical
wild to
music,
music,
man, when I was younger, but I didn't realize what was going on. My mom had me on that because she always played classical music. She used to play it very, very low, but she told me that it would always kind of play in your it would always be in your subconscious. So sometimes I'll walk in to her room and I'm like, why do I hear so? And she's like, oh, it's playing. And she even told me not too long ago that she used to while I was in her belly, she said something like that. I didn't even know that. I had to grow up.
Same thing.
Oh,
both
okay,
of us,
see?
we
There
did the
you go.
exact same thing when both our
That's
kids
probably why
were in
they
it.
love it now.
Yeah, they
see?
do. It's just planting seeds, and I mean,
the
it's great.
frequencies is real.
Yeah.
I remember I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah. What would you say? I mean, what would you say just to leave somebody out on business wise? Because a lot of people listen as far as business advice. What's one nugget you would share with them of maybe they want to be an artist, maybe they want to put their music out right now, maybe they're waiting for Hollywood 2.0 to move to Summerlin, right? What would you say to them?
Put it out. Be confident in what you're doing. You know, I tell everybody, man, I'm past confidence and I'm past conceited. I'm convinced.
So
I love that. Be convinced in what you're doing. You know, really understand. Like, you don't keep shooting clips. I mean, what's the definition of success? Just failing 100 times, right? So I mean, you just got to keep going. You know, some things are going to hit, some things are not, and just put points up on the board. You know, you got to put numbers on the board no matter what, because that's the only way. That and all of my answers, they're going to come right back to consistency and discipline.
You know, I'm glad you said Steph Curry. I just got to shout him out, man.
Oh yeah,
have you seen the videos of just his workout?
Yeah. And
He's something special. That's
he's on a different level as far as.
It's funny you said that. Like when we was talking about Gilbert earlier, Arenas, he was saying that he had to tell his son. He said, "Hey man, you want to be like Steph?" He was like, "Right now, it's not possible." He said, "Let's see." A lot of times the problem is giving people like you got to be real with what's going on. He's like, "Do you realize how many shots that Steph's been shooting to shoot like that?"
This is every day though.
And every day for how long?
Yeah, since he was
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, since he was like 4.
So he was like, don't worry about that because you're not going to get to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different level of discipline. It's a different level of shots. I remember when he did an interview with Arenas and them. He said that in his career, Steph said he did the math on how many shots that he's taken in his career, and he said he believes it's close to 1 million. Like he said something like 900,000 and whatever number he said, but it was close to 1 million. So can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like people say 1 million, but you know how long it would take. We can't even count to 1 million.
Can't even
right
comprehend what he's
exactly.
been doing.
So just that right there, like that's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's somebody even though he's younger than me, I look up to him just because of how he's grounded and how he's raised his wife. His wife is doing a bunch of different things, and then he just works his behind off. So that's great, man. We always ask about restaurants, man. I seen you at we'll talk offline where you at recently, but I want to know the steakhouse you at. But what's your favorite restaurant in Vegas now?
It's funny because did the Mirage close?
It did.
I used to like Heritage, man.
Heritage, okay.
Heritage
steak spot. Okay, yeah. I think that's the same as Crab. That's Crab Steak owner. Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool.
That's where I got engaged at.
Wow.
No, not at Heritage, but at Crab Steak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, same chef.
I like Heritage, man. I actually had one of my clients that came out that I took him out. He did a little VIP thing for his birthday.
Okay, good
I like Heritage, and I always know y'all be asking something. I was like, let me try to think of something.
Give us a gem, man.
We done been so many. I've been kind of everywhere, but I like Heritage. It was nice nuanced.
Yeah, it's nice ambiance too.
I like
pretty
all
spot.
of that type of stuff. Yeah, Heritage was dope, man.
Okay,
and I
didn't get to go there before it closed.
But it's done now. It's a wrap.
Maybe they bring it back at Hard Rock.
Probably right.
Yeah.
Well, that chef is no joke. So he'll probably stop a piece.
Do you even have a favorite? You eat everywhere.
Paki does.
Man, I love.
You can't have a favorite, right?
No,
at this
I
point.
got too many, man.
Right.
From Kylie Bass to we just said to Toro Nakamura. I love that.
Right.
I couldn't believe that Mozzie brought up Sushi Fever. That cracked me up.
Yeah.
I got too many of them on there, man.
Yeah.
Too many.
I don't know when he has
names.
time to go eat all these places.
Yeah.
He has been every place in Vegas.
Man.
No, I'm gonna say this right. Is in we laugh about this all the time. And shout out to TK, because TK Kirkland was making fun of us saying that, how the hell are y'all not fat? Right.
That's what I was saying. You looking good in good shape,
I'm trying
man.
my best, man.
Right.
But you know what it is? Because we starve ourselves technically during the week for the most part.
Okay.
And then we lose our mind, on the weekends. So that's kind of our
the kids.
Not that we don't really starve ourselves, but we kind of eat clean.
For sure. That's how you want to do it, man.
The good stuff, man. What else, man? What else should you that maybe we forgot to ask you that you want to leave us out on? That
like I said, I worked on this this up and coming film. I did the theme song.
Can you say what it is? The film?
Yeah, the name of it is The Amazing J. Nicole.
Okay. I'm sorry, you did say. I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
I did the theme song for that.
Okay.
I just did a commercial for 2K25 with Jason Tatum, SGA.
Congrats.
And Austin Reeves, man. Shout out to Austin Reeves, man. He got to work on his acting, man. It was funny to see. It's funny to see them in their.
That's Doc Rivers is.
No.
Reeves?
Austin Lakers.
Okay, I'm tripping.
AR-15.
I'm tripping. I'm thinking Austin Rivers. My bad.
He commentated on podcasts and stuff. Now he's not in the league no more. He's a funny guy. It's funny to see Austin Reeves, man, because it was funny to watch the director and how many it took him, Jason Tatum, and SGA, they knocked their stuff out, and because they were out in Vegas doing the USA stuff before the actual Olympics.
Okay.
So it was cool, met Tatum and stuff like that. He was cool people, solid guy, and just Reeves, man, he was taking so long. It was so many takes just for his scene. So I'm curious to see actually when it comes out with 2K25. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with.
He's a big gamer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
He's a big guy. I don't play no games, but he play all the games.
And my son was going crazy. Dad, you was really with Tatum, man. You really was with Tatum.
What's up.
That was kind of.
I thought it was a good feeling, huh? When you actually get to be in that environment.
I remember when I first did my show that I first did. I believe it was in 2019, Vegas Social.
Okay.
It was on Amazon Prime, and my son, when he first saw me on TV, he was going crazy. I mean, he'd seen me on stuff when he was younger, but he couldn't remember it. Mm-hmm. He was like, "Dad, you really were doing it, man." I was like, "Yes, son."
That's proud.
Not just saying it. So 2K25. That commercial should be coming out any day. I mean, I've been paid. The check is cleared. So that stuff,
soon.
It's coming out soon. Working on that, and like
Still
I said,
grinding.
Always grinding, always putting in the work. Shouts out to my guy Mozzie. He's got the new record with Jim Jones right now.
Yeah, fire.
Taking all bets. So that's really what's going on right now, man. Just keeping it moving.
Keep
moving. Oh, I'm working on the sitcom coming soon. That's going to be shooting in Miami.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, keep tabs on G6, man. I appreciate you always coming back on, and
I appreciate you
always coming with the right energy, man.
Yeah,
you always come with the right energy,
man.
man.
That's what I'm here to do, man. I'm glad for you guys having me and stuff like that.
Appreciate it, man.
And it's like, hey, man, let's not let it be another 2 years, even though that time flew. But I also want you to go interview like another 120, 130 people.
Trying, man. We keep
and then
trying to stay in the
let me
space.
show right back up when it's the right time.
Trying to stay in the space, man. I love doing this, man.
Appreciate
So
you
we
guys.
appreciate hanging out with you, man. What's your social handles? People can check you out at.
Capital G6 on Instagram. Capital G6.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Check us out at thevegascircle.com, man, and support us, man. But appreciate you, my guy. Thank you, man.
Always, man.
Good
Most
stuff,
definitely,
man. Yeah, that was great, man. That was great. We stayed on the